bull or bear? Rolling my Howard Ruff 1983 silver commemorative coin, 1 ounce round. And she comes up a bull. And this is from 1983, a 1 ounce round for the National Howard Ruff Convention. I guess it's the 6th annual one. Wow, he was doing them back in the early 70s as well. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Miami coral cam up here. And, ooh, somebody's eating something there. Got lots of different fishes up here in the morning here. The water clarity's not too bad. And guess what? Speaking of fishes, I went fishing yesterday. Ended up catching my limit on kingfish. Caught a couple nice, again, the 30, 35 inch range. Our limit, got our limit for the boat. Had pretty good luck recently, last 2 times I've gone out fishing. My first trip a couple weeks ago in a long time, I got tile fish. I hope this luck continues. Meanwhile, what an absolutely lovely camera here. I could sit here and look at this forever, sip on my coffee. It's a morning show, yay! And boy, if I didn't know better, it looks like somebody's dropping food in there, or whatever that was that dissolved, probably something else, fish poop. All right, so let's move into the quote of the day, which is a quote generated by me through the OpenAI platform. I asked specific questions to make a short and simple quote, so my brain didn't have to think about it, and I think it came up pretty good here. Commercial banks with their short positions in the CME silver and gold COMEX markets wield a manipulative power that distorts the physical markets and undermines the credibility of the CME Group's exchange. Their actions not only impact prices, the actions not only impact prices, but also reveal a clear lack of regulatory action by the CFTC. The true value of precious metals should not be determined by the deceitful games of a few powerful players. Now, I'll admit I gave AI most of this right here. I gave it and said, here, formulate this in a nice quote for me. But I did like this right here. AI came up with this all by itself. More or less, I guess. The true value of precious metals should not be determined by the deceitful games of a few powerful players. I thought that was a very powerful comment just in itself. I could have made that the quote. Well, anyways, let's move into spot prices, and you know why we're talking about it. Nothing organic going on here, folks. This is just pure. Give me 1 second. I got to move this phone out of the way. Getting a little bit irritating. Sorry about that. I'll put it behind me. It'll probably be just as loud. Current gold price is $19.90. Again, nothing organic going on here. Sub $25 silver, platinum, still hanging on to that 1050 range, not monkey hammered yet. I think the real monkey hammering is going on with gold right now in the criminal CRIMEX markets. Gold's getting monkey hammered and somewhat bringing silver down a little bit. And by the way, the great article by Ted Butler this week talks about this, that, you know, Ted, I've said it for a long time, wherever silver goes, gold will follow, or wherever gold goes, silver will follow. I'm sorry, that's been a quote of mine for quite some time. And I believe a couple times where I felt that in order to get the price of silver to go down, they're going to knock the price of gold down. I mean, again, it kind of follows the suit. And they do it in these, what Ted called, I love the term, salami slices in the overnight market. They chop it down. Let's see here. Do we get the overnight markets here? No. But they chop it down in the overnight markets. There you go. There's a low in 1989. That was probably just recent here, yeah. But they chop it in little thin slices over the course of a week. They chop it in the overnight markets where nobody would be doing. Again, folks, just clear, blatant manipulation in the COMEX CME Group's gold and silver markets, and the overnight markets, which I think are the NYMEX markets. I call them all the CRIMEX markets because it's a criminal enterprise. It really is the way it's been operated for years, with no CFTC oversight and no CFTC regulatory actions whatsoever. But we're going to get into that as well too. I think there's something interesting. Ted Butler's kind of mentioned some things I don't think, again, things that we've talked about for many years. GATA is talked about, which is the intervention of the federal government possibly into commodity markets such as silver and such as gold. And more than likely, I'm sure, for sure, if our little silver market's manipulated to the degree it is, I bet your last dollar, for whatever that's worth, that the oil markets are probably just as much manipulated. And again, the CME Group's COMEX market is a futures group, a derivative group. This is where price structure is made for oil, gold, silver, and platinum. And what I've been saying for many, many years is that these groups are so powerful that the only thing that can destroy them is themselves, okay? That includes the big bullion banks out there, and Bank of America, who has that huge short position that Ted Butler talked about that they owe JP. JP seems to be the puppet master out there. They seem to be the ones gaining more than losing, and that's because, again, what did we talk about recently? In my opinion, and the opinions of others that are way smarter than me, JP Morgan is a tool, or maybe they are the puppeteer. Who's the tool? I'm not sure. But they actually work for the government in some ways to help regulate these markets, what they would call regulation, but it's really manipulate these commodities markets. And again, I bet you oil is probably heavily rigged, but I know nothing about that. If any of you are oil traders out there, please make something in the comment section. I'd like to hear that. But silver and gold markets are just so freaking rigged. And silver market being the easiest to see because it's such a small marketplace with a small group of traders that are so obviously gaming the system in such a manipulative way. But again, oh gosh, it's just repeating the same thing we've been talking about for a while. I'd like to read a little comment here by Ted Butler. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm a great admirer of Mr. Butler. Some of you say I have a man crush on him, but I like that term. I have a man crush on this man's incredible knowledge and skill and knowing precious metals markets, how to read these CO2 reports, and again, the longevity that Ted Butler's been in this, all right? So when he says something to me, I got to admit, I don't question it very often. Has he been wrong before? I think the only time I can think Ted might be wrong is if he's picking a specific time frame. Oh, it's going to go up now, it's going to go down then. But the basic message of what he's been talking about, the manipulation by the big 4 to 8 commercial traders in the silver market, has been obvious and plain as the nose on our face to see that it's just clear manipulated behavior. I'm going to read this here. Again, hope Mr. Butler, most recent newsletter, he shares a lot of his newsletters with Silver Seeker and a bunch of others. And I would suggest, if you have the opportunity to subscribe to Butler Research, Ted Butler's newsletter, certainly worth the money, well spent. Ted says here, I further believe the still excessive short position in SLV is understood by the SEC and the chairman to be the fraud and manipulation I contend it to be, okay? Let me preface that right before this. Ted Butler says that approximately 38 million ounces are short, or 38 million ounce short position at SLV is really not a short position. It is simply a ploy to delay having to give back 38 million ounces into SLV. I know it sounds convoluted, but I believe Ted is exactly right on this. He knows his stuff, and I do believe that this 38 million ounces short position in the SLV market is indeed what he says it is: clear manipulation and avoiding having to put the silver in there. And why avoiding having to put the silver into the SLV? Because they don't have it. They don't have it. There are huge physical short positions out there, folks. And that flies in the face of what we're seeing right here. That flies in the face of these lower prices, sub $25, all right? But this is not organic. Again, this is a completely rigged marketplace that the CME Group is running here. Credibility with a percentage of us, maybe 1% of 1% of the total population out there that may understand how crooked these markets are. We're not surprised by it, but here, let me move along here so I don't, again, jump down some more rabbit holes. But Ted says here, but its hands are tied because any overt action, now this is where it gets interesting, any overt action to move against the short sellers or Blackrock, you've got to remember, folks, Blackrock is huge. They're the, when you talk about 800-pound gorillas in the investment world, Blackrock is the 1,600-pound gorilla, okay? So anyways, Ted says here, any move against the short sellers of Blackrock would be potentially explosive to the price of SLV and silver. Indeed so, because if anybody knew how short how short SLV was on silver, how short the people that have got the short position in SLV are short on silver, how short the COMEX is probably short on silver. If the general public knew that they could squeeze this and run a squeeze on this, it'd be all over for these bastards, these manipulative bastards, all right? And Ted says, I say this because another important government entity gets even more interesting. This is not a rabbit hole that I've seen Ted dive down to very often. GATA.org talks about the government intervening in gold markets, but not many people talk about silver markets. Again, I'm not to pat myself on the back, but I've been saying it for a couple years now, kind of noting the behavior and what's going on, but Ted says it right here. I say this because another important government entity, the U.S. Treasury Department, appears to be doing everything it can to prevent a surge in silver prices through the U.S. Mint not producing enough silver eagles and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency doing everything it can to obscure Bank of America's massive blunder in shorting 1 billion ounces of silver in OTC derivatives. All right? So here you go. More or less, in a nutshell, Ted says that the reason that CFTC will not do anything and the SEC probably won't do anything is because they're afraid of blowing up this entire market. Now, Blackrock SLV is such a small percentage of their business. Again, Ted mentions in his article, or one of his articles, maybe this one, that Blackrock SLV represents like 1% of one. If BlackRock's entire investment portfolio was $1 million, Ted says that SLV would represent about 1,000 of them. Okay, now that's very small markets, and you're wondering, well, how could that hurt BlackRock? All right, well, how does that hurt BlackRock? Credibility. Credibility can destroy a $1 billion casino. That's what CME Group is, a $1 billion casino, and their credibility is being destroyed. Once people see the credibility of an exchange go to the shit, and we've seen it with the LME, all right, and don't say it can't happen with the COMEX Group and it can't happen elsewhere, but and BlackRock too. Don't say it can't happen with BlackRock. You know, this one entity they run, and it goes south because of manipulative behavior, and they get caught in the mass public. You know, remember, you and I, and a lot of people that talk about this, we are such a small percentage of people. We're like the tinfoil hat people, according to them, or that's what they'd like us to make us out to be, especially since we're such a small percent. But the truth is that the truth is getting out there. People are understanding how crooked that these exchanges are. The funny thing is, the tiny little silver market, which represents, you know, a fraction of BlackRock's total financial stability, a fraction of the CME Group's amount of billions and trillions the CME Group run through. This tiny little silver market could expose huge cracks in the credibility of, again, these casino marketplaces like the CME Group, the LME, could expose huge cracks of credibility in Bank of America. Not that they haven't done that already, and their massive blundering and shorting billions of ounces in OTC, all right? But here, let me move along again. I jumped down these rabbit holes because it's easy to do. Ted says, I say this because another important government in the U.S. Treasury appears to be doing, I'm going to read it again, it can prevent a surge in silver prices. The U.S. Mint not producing enough silver eagles, and the Office of Comptroller doing everything it can to obscure Bank of America's massive blunder and shorting billions of ounces of OTC derivatives. Folks, if we had an honest media, okay, if we had an honest media, and you don't read this you're not going to read this in Bloomberg, you're not going to read this in the Wall Street Journal. You know why? They're not honest media, in my opinion. You got to read it in the back streets. You got to read it by the people that understand the meat and the fat and the bone and of this issue. You know, they understand the inside and the outside of this issue. Guys like Ted Butler. But you're not going to hear it from mainstream media how crooked these markets are. You know why? Because that would be complicit with taking these large entities down. And what's the one common theme that BlackRock, CME Group, and Bank of America and others out there, what's the one theme, the one thing they all share in common? Too big to fail, too big to jail, okay? One thing they share in common, and that's You heard it from me, and I've been saying that for the last couple of years anyway. All right, let's move out of here. Great article by Ted Butler exposes that $38 million short, 38 million ounce short position, which really, again, tiny silver market. Silver could completely expose and take down the entire structure of these large derivative trading centers. All right, now let's get into a little bit of news, because I haven't talked about news for a little bit. And let me take a sip of my coffee here. What am I seeing? BBL, I should say love. That's assuming I'm having another man crush here. I'm not like BBL stuff quite a bit. BOA, tokenized gold market value reaches 1 billion, acceptance grows. I believe BBL is kind of, I believe he likes cryptocurrencies, he understands it, and that's a market that he likes. And he talks about how the gold market is being tokenized and breaches $1 billion. But, again, people like that, but not talking about why would you buy a token that says you own gold? What is such a hard thing for people to actually buy gold itself and hold it? Why the aversion? I mean, I know there's reasons out there. People can say, well, I don't need to store it, I travel or whatever. There's some legit reasons, but for the most part, why would you put money into something to have them hold it for you instead of holding it yourself, especially something easy like gold? You can store $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster. And no, I don't have it in my toaster, so anybody out there planning a grand heist, no. You can have my toaster. But good article there. Another article by Kinesis Money. That Kinesis Money channel, that's the channel that does they have some kind of crypto gold kind of thing going on there too as well. I'm not quite sure. Again, I'm not dissing it, but it's just not my thing. I want to own the physical product myself. I don't want to give my money to someone else. And no matter how well-intentioned a company or corporation can be that's holding your money, even if it's gold tokens or Kinesis Money holding on to your money somehow, these companies can be taken down innocently, and they'll admit it. Anyone that owns a business can admit that sometimes things that can take a company down are beyond their own control. Listen, myself, there's a lot of things that can take down companies. Crooked behavior from inside or outside, governments, just bad luck, I guess. I don't know, but not going to get into that. That's the reason you own gold and silver, folks, is to get rid of that risk of someone else holding it. But good articles here. BOA, tokenized gold market, and 100 nations to simultaneously pull out the dollar system. This is something I've been talking about for the last 2 years, the weaponization of the dollar, if you've been following my program. But it looks like Andrew Sheckman and who else? Mr. Kinesis Money there. Who's that other guy? Anyway, I forgot. Andrew McGuire or something like that. Both talk about a bunch of nations pulling out of the dollar system. Not a surprise to us, especially folks that have been listening to my videos for a while. We knew this was going to happen. We've seen it happen. The writing's been on the wall. Why this week's tax data could lead to much earlier debt ceiling crisis? Well, it's pretty damn obvious. If people aren't paying that much taxes because they're not making a lot of money, then the revenue goes down, all right? So, I mean, that's simple stuff right there. Couldn't argue with that at all. Billions that are sent over there in weapons and money, it's like making it rain. And it's raining in Ukraine, it's raining dollars. And who's it raining on? It's raining on the most corrupt fucking nation on earth, Ukraine. I hate to say it, but it's true. They've always been corrupt. They've been corrupt from day one. They still are corrupt. They have problems with nationalists that do those hand salutes to the air. And there's unaccountability for billions and billions of dollars over there, folks. Listen. Take care of this country first, and this country is sorely lacking in so many ways, including our infrastructure. But let's not talk about that. Let's move along. What does this all got to do with the price of gold and silver, all this bad news? Well, it means that wise people out there are buying more gold and silver, and they're not buying derivatives, they're not buying paper stuff, they're buying the real stuff, ounces, coins, bullion, bars, you name it. That's what they're buying. And why are they buying it? Because they see this kind of idiocy. They see where the dollar's going with weaponization, debt ceilings, all kinds of crazy. Look at annualized $800 billion. This is nothing good for the dollar, the fiat dollar. This is everything good for gold, which is an inverse relationship to the dollar. And remember, where gold goes, silver follows. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now with the lower gold price, silver following. I didn't do the ratio, too. It just reminds me, I didn't do the ratio for gold and silver. And something tells me that silver's just showing some abnormal strength that we don't normally see. And again, Ted Butler points that out as well, that the big shorts haven't done their normal shorting thing. The big four shorts are recent. But again, I start to digress here. We can go on all different topics, guys. But gold and trade, the S&P higher would be without the banking crisis. Nothing good out here, folks. And again, what has that got to do with the gold and silver? You can repeat it because I say it all the time over and over. It does get to be a bit repetitive, I'm sorry. It means that the price of gold and silver are going to do well as long as this country continues to go to hell in a handbasket. Is that the proper term to use? All right, let's just move into something different so I don't get depressed. I don't want to depress you guys either. Best deals out there are still 1 ounce gold bars, but you want to hear something interesting? There's been a bigger run on gold of the last couple months than there has silver. Gold's been benefiting more for some reason, and it's mostly by people buying larger quantities. I think the upper middle and the millionaire class, the upper middle and millionaire class are starting to recognize what's happening with the dollar, and we're starting to see them in our store, and a lot of other people are starting to see them. And the result of this is higher premiums, higher demand for gold, and again, that's what we're seeing right now, and that's probably why we're seeing the government through their proxies, JP and the criminal crime X markets, are knocking the price of gold down because they don't want to see gold go higher. Not good for the U.S. dollar, not good for their plans, which are their plans are really all about them, folks. Remember that, not about us. 1 ounce bars, like I said, still the best deal out there, but delays. I've not really often ever seen delays in 1 ounce gold bars, and I'm kind of seeing them right now, which tells me when my distributors start getting low on 1 ounce gold bars and they're waiting for delivery, tells me that there is big demand for gold, folks. And I think we're going to continue to see that here. So gold bars are still the best deal out there. I think they're $73 over, something like that. Gold Eagles have edged up a bit. Gold Eagles used to be on my it's too much money list. Don't buy Gold Eagles because at one time they were $150, $200 over spot, $225. But at $125 or less over, it's not such a bad deal to buy Silver Eagles. But still, if you can buy gold bars for $73 and you can buy Eagles 25, I mean, you're saving $40 or $50 an ounce by buying gold bars. So if you buy a gold bar, you can buy 2 ounces of silver and a gold bar for every Eagle you buy. All right, that still, I think, represents a better deal. More metal in your pocket. Boy, it's going to be a busy day today. I have my phone shut off and the other phone's just ringing. What else? Maples, and there's product availability on a lot of the stuff out there, but maples are a good deal. Krugerrands are not a bad deal. All the gold products are a good deal, but I think we're going to start to see some, again, availability delays. Sorry, man, I got to shut that off. That just annoys me when I'm trying to, there we go. All right. Not the customers calling me annoy me. It's the phone itself when I'm trying to, someone should be answering that. They must be busier than hell. That's the only way the phone rings is if they're too busy to answer it. All right, so a lot of good deals out there. If you're looking for fractional gold, still stay away from Gold Eagle fractionals. The price is just insane. I mean, the wholesale ask price is well over 20% on 10th ounce Eagles. That does not represent good money. You can go out and buy French 20 francs, French and Swiss gold 20 francs for a much better deal. They're 0.1867 ounces, about a little less than 2/10 of an ounce, all right? What's another good deal out there? Sovereigns, if you can find them at 0.2354 ounces. They're probably like melt plus $40 or something like that, 45. French 20 francs melt plus 30 or 35. But fractional pieces, fractional bars like this, bars are still going to be cheaper than 10th ounce Eagles and quarters and stuff like that. But I'd stick with the old school. This new phone system's driving me nuts. Sorry, just got a new phone system. Went to all voice over internet protocol. VoIP, I guess that's new to me. All right. Sorry about all the background noises. Silver is a different story, folks. Across the board, 1 ounce silver bars, 1 ounce silver rounds. Let's type in silver rounds. They're over $4 and $5 spot plus $4 and $5 just for the generic stuff. We're back to that time, that we were several months ago. There's been a couple times, probably at least 3 times I can think of, maybe more, in the last 3 years that I've seen generic rounds go above $4 and $5 an ounce premium. We're back there again. It just tells me that the demand is big for silver, and if the demand is not big for silver, it just tells me the supply is sucking wind. And again, something Ted Butler talks about, why they're short 38 million ounces in SLV is because they can't find the frickin' silver. But best deals out there, I'd love to tell you generics are, but they're not right now. 1 ounces are a little bit harder to obtain. But kilos, if you can still find kilos, you can still get a reasonable deal on those. You can also still get a reasonable deal on 100-ounce bars and 10s if they're available. But 1 ounce rounds seem to have gone off the crazy premium level again. And it seems like kilos and hundreds are the best deals out there, folks. I was going to quote you on what I have prices, but I haven't filled out my sheet yet. We're still doing that right now. But as you know, here I go into my advertising spiel. Here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I've been here since 1995 in this location. I've been doing this since '77. We advertise to beat all the locals here on reasonably priced gold and silver and platinum products. And we advertise to beat Atmex, SD&J, and Bullion as well. So you don't need to shop online. If you live in South Florida, you can simply come visit us between 10 and 4. We'll give you a better deal and good personal face-to-face advice as well. Plus, we're nice. Not saying they're not nice. I think that's really about it. That's my whole advertising spiel right there, folks. So if you live in South Florida and you're looking to buy gold and silver, we're the place to come see. You don't need to order it online. If you don't live in South Florida and you can't come visit our brick and mortar store here, and you're looking to buy more than 100 ounces of gold and more than 1,500 ounces of silver, that's my limit for shipping. I'm sorry. And you live anywhere in the United States, feel free to give us a call. We can hook you up with gold, silver, and platinum products. We have with a few of you out there. Again, we do traditional wires, traditional bank wires, traditional form of secure shipping, but it has to be over 100 ounces gold and more than 1,500 ounces silver. And again, if you want to buy less than that, come visit us at our store. If you can't, again, and you don't live near us and you can't meet our minimum requirements, please find yourself a good local dealer before you shop online. I know it's easy to shop online sometime, but there's no substitute for having someone that you can go sell this stuff to and develop a good personal relationship with. All right, advertising over for now. Let me move into last week's video, which was, I'm nearing that 10,000 subscriber mark. Not that I care or anything like that, but it's kind of cool. I don't know if 10K marks any, actually it represents like 763 videos for me. So I guess after that, I mean, isn't it amazing that you see some YouTubers out there, they got their kitten online or something, they show a cat and a duck playing with each other, and it's like 1 million views, and they only did like 2 videos. Hey, listen, I never said that this channel rewards anyone for being smart. They do not reward you for being smart. They do not reward you for good content. They reward you for clickbait titles and algorithms, which really probably don't work to find good content. They just look for nonsense like kittens and ducks and babies falling off. All right, well, babies falling off. Well, where did I come up with that from? All right, so bigger gold buyers, lots of silver buyers. Oh, also, I did hit a 51,000 view on one of my videos here, not too long ago. Just don't know what generates that. I wouldn't say it was one of my better content videos, but it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't one of my best, but still generated 51,000 views. I think I can, that video, sorry folks, a lot of you guys made comments in my 51,000 view video, but there was like 200 comments. The beauty of having these small videos like this is that I can answer your questions personally in the comment section. And if I do start to get too big to answer in the comment section, man, hit me up on Twitter because I am not busy there, and I can personally answer a lot of your questions there too as well. But meanwhile, let me answer some questions here in the 17 comments. Go to the bottom. If you get dizzy, close your eyes. Michael, what's up? Yeah, it's a coffee morning. I know you're a big coffee drinker as well. James Nelson, I like to see a little Karen. James was referring to the little girl kicking the pelican in my last video, and you'll know if you go watch it. Welcome, what's up? John Schroeder, gold, silver, boom, boom, pow. Yeah, boom, boom, pow to the downside today as well, but nothing organic. You know, all these people buying gold and silver out there, nobody's selling, capitulating. Folks, nobody's selling their gold and silver. You know, maybe they're selling derivatives in the futures markets in some fucking weird, convoluted scheme that you would see in a casino somewhere, but no. Nobody's selling their gold, silver, and platinum. Everyone's buying it, and prices are down. They're the most screwed up market you ever seen in your life, right? And no wonder, it's crooked. Linda says, yes, it was some grown-up maybe parent. Yep, letting the grown-up. It wasn't the little kid that was kicking the pelican that got us mad. It was the grown-up allowing to do that. Really, isn't that the truth? Superb steam, carpet cleaning, $25 per room. Sounds like a great deal, my friend. These people are always being mean to birds, not the first time. Boy, that bird video really got some of you. Hey, Christopher, what's up? Cheers to you as well. Something is going on in prep like you have a parent stack like you have. Yeah, there you go. Buy them cheap, bury them deep, hang 10 peeps. There you go, my surfing friend. Silver liner, I bet the little girl's name Karen. Yeah, you guys saw, man, that little girl kicking the pelican in the last video really got some comments going on here. Michael McCotter, yes, he is. Ted Butler is the precious metal authority, bar none. I would not question that. You know, if I owned a real news, not a bullshit propaganda, government and corporate propaganda mouthpiece like, a Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, I would have Ted Butler on my show to tell people, what's going on with the price of silver. Yeah, he is the precious metal authority when it comes to silver, without a doubt. Jim Lewis says, two-part question, is there any physical metal back in the paper market? If so much. And why is there not two different spot prices, one for paper and one physical? Jim Lewis, the physical prices are derived from the paper prices, from the COMEX futures markets. And at one time, I think we thought it made sense to do that, but now the more and more I think about it, it was just originally set up for a few people, very few, to benefit from it and benefit from shenanigans. And why nobody brings this up is either A, they're either complicit, B, they're stupid, or they're afraid to. Michael Matthew, I love you commenters. Thanks, Mike, I appreciate that. Michael Goodspeed says, Brian, watch your channel daily. Posted this question before, but I may have missed an answer. Yeah, sometimes I get so many questions and stuff, and I do apologize if I missed some of you guys. However, with the recent rise in metals prices, people may decide to sell, then what? People would be exchanging their physical assets for U.S. dollars? Yes, that's true. I would like to see a position on one of your videos to address this. More or less, so you're always going to be exchanging, because I don't think we're ever going to go back to a gold-backed dollar or gold-backed currency or anything like. Well, hey, I could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. Even in the BRICS countries that are talking about backing their metal with gold, that backing is, they're still talking about backing their country with gold and pumping out a fiat to the population. That's what they're going to do, whether it's in the form of crypto or whether it's a dollar form. I think that's going to continue. They're always going to have fiat. They're just going to have something solid behind it because maybe they learned their lesson from owning simply fiat. But they're always going to pawn the fiat on us, and we're always going to have to use that fiat because a mass majority of the people don't understand gold and silver, don't care. They just want that digital currency or that paper dollar in their pocket to go buy their beer and go buy their cigarettes and go buy their whatever addiction they have or go buy their, pay their rent. That's all they care about. And so we're always going to have a digital currency, but you own gold and silver to hedge against that declining currency. That's my feeling on it. Thanks for commenting, Michael. Really appreciate it and appreciate I hope that helped a little bit. If not, hey, hit me up in the comment section again and a little more specific, and I'll try to be a little more specific there. It happened again. I went to buy some platinum, walked out with silver, now I'm trading with the bird kickers. Hermosa Beach Guy, what's up? And hey, folks, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, the like button there, subscribe button up there somewhere. I can't subscribe to my own channel. And there's a bell there you can hit too that'll remind you when my new videos come up. And by the way, if you ever not find me on this particular channel right here, it's because I probably said something they didn't like, which is not surprising nowadays. There's a lot these guys don't like. But meanwhile, I'm still here. But if you don't find me here, you'll find me here. And I suggest that you actually save this just in case you don't find me here one day as well. Why again? Because, we're bound to say something that the powers to be don't like. And I like this channel as well. I would prefer to put more videos up here, honestly, because I like the free speech platform. The same reason that I just, after years and years of being on Twitter here, have recently started using it more since Elon bought it, because I do like free speech platforms. I really want to be involved with free speech platforms, which some of these other platforms are really not. All right. If you don't find me there, or if my comment section just get blown off the hook with too many comments and I can't answer you guys out there, I'm still really slow on Twitter. Hey, that's it, folks. I'm going to call it quits. Let me remind you, not coming up too far from now, if you live in South Florida, make a plan to come up and visit the Collectorama Show. You can buy gold, silver, platinum, coins, collectibles, all kinds of cool stuff at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, which is a really cool area. Come up with the family, come up by yourself, bring a pocket full of money. The kids can have a good time as well as the adults here. There's free tickets for the public to get in. If you're a dealer and you want to take a table, hit that dealer. If you're a dealer in collectibles or anything in coins or anything as well, hit that dealer spot right there and come down and get a table at the show. I'll be there. A lot of my friends will be there. And again, if you want to come and visit and not get a table and you just want to walk the show and have a good time, get your free tickets here at the collectoramashow.com website. Meanwhile, that's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Little overcast and cloudy. That's it. I'm calling it quits. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.